So we're starting out with my knockoff Woodland Wardens. We need to shuffle this deck. We've got the Owl and Hop for Wisdom, the Bobcat and the Blackthorn, Patience. Because, like, too many steps. Too many steps too fast. Like, you're not in a sprint. Pacing is everything in this. And you need to, or I shouldn't say you need to, you can do whatever you want, because to be honest with you, like, there isn't really a wrong answer, but there's no really, like, wrong answer here for you. You've surpassed that. Trust your familiar. Some of you could have a cat, or like a, I mean, you know, you have a familiar, but cat could be significant. Bird also could be significant. Maybe you have a pet bird. This is like coming at me rapid fire. It's interesting because usually I start these things like really, really chilled, but like this deck does not have anything else. I'm really interested in knowing, like, there's a lot of excitement, but for you it's more like, okay, it's like time to get going. Like, there's never going to be a good enough time like now, and you have to realize that a lot of that good shit you've been doing, like the way that you've been operating, like, you gotta pace and it works, so you gotta do it, and you have to keep doing it, whatever this is. And like the duality between like the animal and the greenery, you know what I mean? Like, there's just a corresponding animal to plant relationship. And in this one, like, you've got, you know, birds, cats, and roses. You know, this is just the only card in this spread of 3 that has like a human involved, but like, you know, you got a winged creature here, you got a cat over here, and different, you know, plants. Hop and Blackthorn. African Gods Oracle. It's like, in this deck, I always say, like, it hurts, but it's wise. It comes with some no-nonsense ass wisdom. We're in the new moon phase. Looking within can reveal the mysteries of the universe. So we're doing shadow work together. That sounds cool. It sounds cool. It's... Whoa. 2 of them. And I think these are both negative aspects. I think every reading that I've done with this deck has a shadow aspect, and it's equal parts, like, shadow aspect and, like, positive and negative Odu aspects. Like, equal amounts of those cards are in the deck, so it's just... Anyway, so you have Odie. There is no easy way when pain comes from the heart. That's your first negative aspect card. The regent orishas are Eshu, Ogun, and Babaleya. The keywords are does not tolerate weakness and incompetence, gossips, difficulty keeping secrets, martial infidelity, superstitiousness, doubts everything and everyone, unyielding, jealous, lonely, and prefers to live isolated from others. Yo. I had to be reminded that I have a crotchety old Caribbean woman inside of me that just be sitting there gossiping on the phone, on a corded phone, just doing the most because, when you don't realize that, like, weakness is a construct, like, you will go around judging everybody and think that you're better than everyone, and then you get fucking humbled, bro. Resignation is the motto for this moment in your life. The negative influence of Odu Odi brings a path of struggles and difficulties that often seem insurmountable. As much as you have confidence in yourself, the universe puts you to the test, and it feels like each obstacle comes faster and is harder than the previous one, testing your patience to the point where you stop believing in the future. However, as you are willing to seek perfection, you must be prepared to face all demons, yours and others, as if they were light summer breezes. Yeah, you can't get overwhelmed by what you are and what you're capable of. With the right amount of intelligence and effort combined with the strength and protection of the Orishas, no challenge will be greater than your ability to overcome it. And to win is your life's mission. But be aware that all this steely force does not turn into stubbornness and inflexibility. If you allow these traits to emerge in your personality, they will inevitably cause you to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, making you even lonelier than you already are, even in a crowd. The biggest lesson for your inner evolution is to learn to keep your success and plans a secret. Odu Odi itself is a delicate energy, especially in its negative aspect. So to avoid fate's setbacks, learn to keep quiet about yourself and others. Remember, what is neither said nor known cannot be envied or destroyed. This is a very, like, move in silence card. Like, be patient with your wisdom. Okay? Connect with nature. Looking within can reveal the mysteries of the universe. Imagine realizing that you are the universe. Is the level of excellence I demand from myself and others around me truly achievable, or am I demanding the impossible? If I'm never satisfied with the results I get, will I keep manifesting my dissatisfaction in a never-ending sabotage cycle? Because here's the thing. What I'm learning, at least, is what I can say, is what I'm learning is, if you have to go into detail about the plan that you and the creator, or you and your ancestors, you and your gods, whoever it is you're in deals with, like, you have to rely on that, right? And that's when you realize, like, the connectivity that you have with yourself, with others, with the divine, with spirit, with spiritual gifts, with consciousness. Like, when you recognize those things as not just, like, what people are capable of, and as, like, actual superpowers that you have, and you can use them to control, and they're yours to control, they're yours, and so that's all you're supposed to be doing, is controlling yourself. Like, don't go around acting like you're not capable of it. You know full well what you're capable of, and you can never say never. Like, you of all people know that. So, like, when you step into these spaces, like, are you ready to just hyper focus in on the thing that you're supposed to be developing, and rely only on the co-creation between you and this entity, and just trust that your intuition will guide you? Like, or are you ready to just do the thing that we know doesn't work, which is, like, people actively, want people who are healing to not heal. And they can have all of the good reasons for it, but people really actually do not sometimes want the best for you. And you know that, and you also know, I should say, that you have a wonderful community that you are either building or have built, and if you haven't heard it yet, that is coming for you, is that you are going to be in environments that are no longer toxic. And so when things feel, sound, similar to the things that you picked up on that were red flags about bad environments, like, you're gonna have to just keep moving in silence and allow things to play out how they do, because to be honest with you, like, you're not supposed to be running in, loudly about everything that you're up to at every given moment. Like, you are the kind of being that plays the background just like you asked for. But you have to want to be in the background, which means you're not supposed to be seen or heard in those ways. And, like, you have to trust that that's going to work. And I don't think, with that level of dedication, it's going to come with an ego. So stay grounded. Like, just stay grounded in all of that. Like, don't fly off the deep end in either direction, is something I was having a conversation about today. Your second card is 32, and your first card was 14, so those two numbers could be significant. A chaotic life is the result of chaotic choices. Regent Orisha's Orunmila and Eshu. So you have Eshu both times. Fanciful and utopian, indecisive, lives in affliction, and fears losing everything and everyone. Give me just a second. So you're being brought to a crossroads. I was looking up Eshu, and a foundational, multifaceted Orisha in the Aruba religion. Obviously, we're doing an Orisha pull. No prayer or sacrifice reaches the other Orishas without Eshu's permission and delivery. He guards thresholds and crossroads, representing the choices and intersections of human destiny. So, like, you now realize that, like, the choices that you make are weighed. And those weights just give you... It's kind of like a package. I'm thinking about a package. It's like you are now understanding, or if you haven't heard this yet, like, I'm seeing, like, this idea of, like... I think that you thought that life was chaotic, and it was just, like, the Grinch in the mailroom, like the Grinch in the mailroom just tossing packages out of order all over the place, just, like, destroying everything and getting everyone's order wrong, and you think that that's what life is, and that's what your soul is, like, doing, and, like, you're realizing that, like, actually there are, like, beings that, like, can honestly say from experience, because I've done this job since the dawn of time, and I've never, this hasn't, there are probably stories where, like, fate is tested, but, like, it's a pretty intricate but simple system. Like, every choice that you make has, like, a forward reaction. Like, it does lead somewhere. And, like, every choice you make, conscious or unconscious, it goes into a direction. And you have to be a lot more decisive. The negative influence of Odu Alafia brings constant affliction in face of the apparent chaos of the outside world, which is reflected inwardly, and even in the simplest situations, brings difficulty in making choices and decisions. The universe is open in front of you, full of possibilities and alternatives, and precisely for this reason, deciding to follow a single path by giving up other options tortures your soul. The constant fear of hurting and losing people, opportunities, and yourself ends up causing stagnation, preventing you from leaving the dream world and acting to get your plans and goals off the page. I know. In today's world, where it seems that everyone thinks solely and exclusively about themselves, it becomes difficult to balance your personal desires with those of people around you, and in an attempt to respect and value their ambitions and dreams. even though a key aspect in building your self-esteem is realizing that, despite everything, your opinions and desires are also important and can also be valued and sought without prejudicing the people you love and care for. Still, it can be difficult to rationalize feelings when you seem to live in the eye of the hurricane. Whether at work, in friendships, or in love relationships, it's time to strengthen existing bonds and establish new bonds of trust and loyalty that will soothe your heart. It's asking you to be open. People come and go in our lives. Nothing in the world is permanent or immutable. However, living in fear only causes anguish. Just be careful. For choosing to view the world from a positive place, you often also choose to ignore the malice of the world. It's like you just swing like a pendulum on like your light and shadow side. And like you are living a very balanced life. And so like you're just needing to settle down, and like the movement just needs to eventually stop. So yes, this ends up hurting and frustrating you when you're forced to face situations where others' motivations weren't as sweet as you thought. So like you'll go from like super super trusting to super super distrusting, and you have good reason for that because people have switched it up on you, and that's what it felt like. So it's like you don't have to blame yourself for having that trauma response. People switch it up. Like people just do that, and you've had to do that. And so like for whatever reason, like you just have to keep moving with your choices because like you and the divine know what you're doing and the trajectory that you're going, and that's nobody else's business. Like it just the end on that thing. And so I understand. With that in mind, what about trying to calm your mind and allow yourself to hear the voice of creativity that is unique to you? You need to be creating. I'm sure you will be able to find ways to reconcile your desires with those of others and still favor situations in which everyone wins. Yes. Because you're moving on. You're moving on. At the very least, seeking this way of valuing yourself and others is the most commendable way to avoid assuming sole responsibility for solving all the conflicts in the world. Yep. You're holding yourself accountable too hard. And it's bringing back that shit. After all, no one said you're the redemptive hero of the universe, did they? Some of y'all have hero complexes. I've been struggling with mine. The shadow meditation with this one is when I look sincerely at my life deceptions and delusions. How many times could I have protected my heart and feelings by admitting to myself that life is a lonely road instead of an all-for-one and one-for-all fantasy? And what will it take from now on so I can stop trying to please everyone around me and put my own interests first? Yeah, because you do this thing, and that's okay. It's like, it's interesting because it's nothing to be afraid of, but it's good that you're aware. So just find the chill in that. Since you had 2 negative aspects, it says here, if a negative Odu card represents itself with the new moon, it's time to look deeper into your soul, investigating what happened in the near past so you're facing these issues right now. Only this way will you be able to reveal the secret possibilities that the new moon keeps under its shadows, and, in the near future, shine brightly when the waxing moon rises. This is the phase when the moon is not visible in the sky. It's preparing to be reborn in its new cycle. Therefore, it is a period of energetic instability, full of mysteries and insecurities, indicating a moment more favorable to reflection than to action. The oldest traditions of magic teach us that in order to be reborn, one must first withdraw and symbolically die. This is the new moon. Yeah, like I said, ego death type stuff. it's pretty clear to me what's being said here. It's very evident that it's not that complicated anymore for you. It's more like you do have these skills. You have been preparing for this next phase of your life. You have fucked up along the way. This next phase, you go in with wisdom and patience, connectivity with nature, and the ways in which you have experienced hardship connecting with people, which is that next phase. You are recognizing, like, the part that not see, and I want to word this carefully, because you are now realizing that now that you have made the decision that you've made and you've set a boundary and it was healthy and you can justify it and you're ready to move on and do the thing, right? Now you're seeing how that sometimes these decisions stem back, and these kinds of decisions continue to make and rear its ugly head because of, like, justifiable fear, right? And so you're like, okay, well, now that I'm not afraid anymore, what does it look like to make a less comfortable decision? Because not every decision that you make is going to feel real good. Some of the decisions that you have to make for the betterment of yourself and your life, like, you have to. Like, you just gotta get real comfortable with making those calls. 6:33 on the clock. We're at 22 minutes here. We don't have to walk away with a definitive answer. But, so it's just, like, interesting, because, like, this one came out, so I'm going to pull one card from this and then one card from I Am Queen. Owls have kind of a dual thing, because, like, in a lot of cultures, owls are bad omens, like something or someone is gonna die, but this is a shadow work ego death channel. This is a shadow work ego death reading. So, like, the owl in my culture represents one of the semis of the Taino people, and Makitauri Guabaya, and that's the guardian, actually, of the underworld. And so, etheric chords, I'm not going to read it, but, like, etheric chords kind of, like, dating back some of the bad patterns, or not even bad patterns, but some of the patterns of vulnerability within your line, in your family, just the stuff that keeps happening, and that you see a pattern, and how, like, maybe the women in your family viewed things. Yeah, celestial alignment. In Kosasana, Queen of Celestial Alignment. Aries again. Aries is kind of interesting, but also every time I see a goat or a goat, I think of the Emperor. So there's a divine masculine presence with the divine feminine energies. So, like, it's interesting because you have, like, a lot of god energy, a lot of goddess energy, just kind of, like, I'm seeing it as, like, a very, like, fluidity. So you float through these phases, like, you are both of these things, you are all of those things. A multiplicity is what I'm hearing. That's cool. So celestial alignment, number 41 could be significant. You did have a 14 here too, with the divine masculine associated with Eshu. Odie. So that could be Odie's energy. Maybe if you're thinking of that. The common misconception is equating Eshu to the Western concept of Satan. In Yoruba cosmology, there is no absolute equivalent to the Abrahamic devil. Eshu is not force of pure evil, rather he is a neutral force who tests humanity to reveal the truth, prompt wisdom, and force individuals to confront the consequences of their choices. So, like, this Eshu energy is in, in the human capability of free will and the action, the way to act upon your free will, and the fact that you have free will. And so, you are at a place now where every decision that you make is in your control, and you know that, like, completely 100 off the bat, and you know that moving forward, like, so I think that, like, that energy of Eshu, in both of your cards from the Odu deck, is confronting you with the fact that, like, you have, yes, made choices before, and some of them haven't been great, and, aside from not needing to be afraid, it is okay, though, to look at those things, like, it is okay to revisit, parts of yourself that you need to review. But yeah, 41... Zulu, South Africa, Temple of High Priestess, element of water, so lots of water energy. Nkosazana is the healer of healers and the teacher of teachers, whose love for humanity makes the corn grow. She dwells in foamy waters, but is known as the heavenly princess. As above, so below is celestial alignment. Like, the guidance is your natural path is to be in alignment with your own divinity. No one can take from you what they didn't give you. So, like, point blank period. Embodiment. How do you want to feel? You think often about what you want, but goddess energy speaks to us in feelings. Celestial alignment is being in sync with the energetic feelings, the frequency of the sacred. Everything that you desire is in that frequency. Match it with your feelings. That is the energy of God, goddess, godex. All that rainbow vibe, this channel is definitely for the word salad community of hope and dreams, LGBTQIA+. Obviously, because I am a part of that community, so you could be too. You could be gender fluid is another thing. You could be in the queer community, though. You're very, very, it's, water energy, you on a flow, you're a fluid person, so, like, yeah, but you're so fluid that you do have, but you're so in alignment. Like, look at that amount, like, harmony is rainbow. I always see the rainbow as just, like, colors in harmony with each other, and it's just kind of, like, beautiful to look at, Nothing else has to, like, how it is what it is, and it's abundant, and it's beautiful, and it's just, look at that. Alignment is harmony, is rainbows. The last card from the I Am Queen Oracle, and I think that's it. I'm going to do this bottom card, Queen of Feeling Off. See, like, fluid, even, like, your queen is, and, like, sometimes you might feel off, and that's okay. 23 could be significant. Wait a minute, hold on. So mirror numbers can be significant because this is 32 and this is 23. So these two cards go together for sure. And probably the Queen in Kosasana and your OD card go together. So we'll go ahead and read this one. Can't make it up. So yeah, mirror numbers can be significant if you have been seeing a lot of that going on. There will be moments and sometimes days when you are just off your center and don't seem to able to find your way back. This happens to all of us. It might be a feeling of overwhelm or a lack of awareness of your true feelings that you're not in touch with. How do you befriend and love this queen within you? She surely exists, and she needs your compassionate, loving care right now. It's undeniable that you will often fall away from your center in the storms of daily life. Even the seemingly most put together people go through this. The queen of feeling off is the one who feels off balance, literally or metaphorically. She can be clumsy and physically lose her footing. She can bump into corners of the table or not seem to concentrate on the task at hand. She is disconnected from her center and is sometimes not even aware of it. Finding her within. Take a moment to reflect on those times when you felt out of sorts or disconnected from your truth. Pay attention to the subtle or not so subtle cues on how to recognize when the queen of feeling off. I'm thinking about it. So like this is, in whatever aspect, view yourself, whatever it is and whoever it is that you are, view this entity as yourself and not in a gender specific way because you're very queer. Pay attention to the subtle or not so subtle cues on how to recognize when the queen of feeling off is present in you. Remember the difficult life situations that derailed you and how you found your way back. So have some grace for yourself. The gifts of this entity, embrace the queen of feeling off with compassion and understanding, knowing they are simply a part of the human experience. Practice self-care and self-compassion as you navigate through these moments, taking time and space to be with them. Take a breath and feel into yourself. You might ask yourself when you start feeling off your center. See if you can locate the moment that triggered it, that the source of it was, or what the source of it was. You can do some reflection, journaling, or other gentle steps that nourish your soul and bring you back to your center. Remember that the queen of feeling off is not a permanent state. She's just one of your queens that needs your attention and loving kindness. Honestly, like, what I'm hearing is your compassion and your love is the cure for those parts of you that recognize there was a point of vulnerability in you that you didn't manage as well, and you have all these good reasons why, but now you know. And yeah, it's uncomfortable because setting boundaries looks like, hey, I haven't been doing these things. I have not been compassionate with myself in this environment, and I cannot maintain compassion for myself in this environment. And it does not matter why, but I'm feeling off, and I have to listen to that and stick with that. And you felt off before, and you didn't need to justify feeling off because those people and those things, a lot of them knew they meant you no good at all. They didn't mean you any good. And then some of those people, like, they really fucking didn't know any better, and neither did you. And the times where you did not mean good for others. Like, nobody has to pretend that this isn't, like... And this is the thing. I'm not talking to people who were, like, perfect and innocent and pure-hearted, heart of gold people. Like, you've done your bullshit, right? You have a right to watch yourself. It's okay that you know what you're capable of. But also understand that, like, you are protected during this because there are other people that are not being compassionate with anyone else, including themselves. You are in a different conversation. And so you need to know that, like, you don't have to be afraid of harmony. Harmony is okay, and it fluctuates. Those colors aren't all the same. And, like, the way in which they, like, span enough where we can see them all come together, but also like be still distinct at a certain point. It's like that's what you're going through. And this energy is very divine masculine, strict, and rigid, even if it's not like, it's very strict and not in like an aligned way. And so like I see like these energies are your like divine masculine energies, your protector energies. I'm curious, I need to look up who the, like, which one may represent the cat, or, the divine masculine in your life that is your spiritual protector could also be your familiar. Like, that's also possible. Every time I see blackbirds, I think of Saturn or Balhamun or, Kronos, and, like, sowing and the tear and, reckonings and whatnot. Like, that's what I think of. And, the skull with that definitely goes along. And, like, the black cat familiar, like, this is momento mori. This is, like, finding that connection with the macabre and the beautiful, the everlastingness of decay, along with, like, growth and abundance. And so, like, you have, like, heavy, like, divine masculine protectors in this spread, but also, like, you can always trace sometimes, like, in some of the lore and some of the stories, and even in, like, some people who recover, like, there's ego there. So, like, and some of them are intimate with it, like, in the Eshu sense, like, he's not doing evil or good, he is the neutral entity. And so, like, when people send neutral energy, it's just like, they're sending energies that are like, whatever decision you make is the decision that charts your history. But I think Christianization and Western culture likes to blame, and so then you create a devil. But, like, and like, I'm not saying that that's not possible. I believe in pretty much everything, but, like, imagine, in the Christian faith, there's this ultimate evil, this devil figure. And, like, I believe that that is possible. I've been prepared more for that than 3737. I've been more prepared for that than anything else that I believe in. So, like, I'm sure I've seen that possibility. But, yeah, like, if there is one, like, what are we doing? Like, how do we know that that's where it leads to this single entity? Like, it would be an Eshu neutrality that kind of sifts through, and I think that, it's between, like, I think of just a very well established, like, system of checks and balances of just cause and effect, and it is like a mail room, or like I'm seeing monsters, and it could be significant. I'm thinking about, like, the doors, like the factory, and how they, like, organize the doors and everything, and it's just, like, all automatic, and it's so flawless. Like, nobody ever thought that there would be any, like, mess, and, like, I'm not gonna spoil it, even though you should have watched it by now. But, like, anyways, 3737 is a powerful divine message that your spiritual journey is unfolding perfectly, and you're perfectly aligned with your true purpose. I can't make this up. I felt like I needed to pay attention to that. You're perfectly aligned with your true purpose. You're about to be in a position, and you do not have to worry about anything. And you are going to live the life that, yeah, and will, is what I'm hearing. And so you have to get comfortable with that. You have to get comfortable with that, because, like, if you don't feel like you deserve it, people are gonna people will definitely believe that too, for you. Like, there are people in this world, and you know who they are. So, like, do you want to make them happy? Or you don't have to live out of spite, but you are literally doing everything that everybody, both hater and love, So you're manifesting all that. All that. All that. So the divine is like, okay, here we go, and you're just kind of like, you've been saying that, and he's just like, you know, he, she, they, like, I already shuffled this, and you're here, this you, in harmony, divinely protected and guided and supported, and sometimes it looks like, you know, sometimes you're in your pit and in your shadow. Your full shadow is really just a skeleton. It's just the bare bones of who you are. Whatever automates you, you know? And these things, you know, you have to feel it. There is no easy way when pain comes from the heart. This was a heart damage. You know, this was, and not like permanent damage, but you know, like sometimes you took a hit and it hit you in the feels. That's all I got. A chaotic life is the result of chaotic choices. Like, I know that you got hit in the feels, you're disoriented. You know, sometimes when you're back there, and like it, you know, you're divinely protected through the moments where something happens and it hits you in those places. Like, yeah, you make it out. Yeah, you're not a, but like it's, you know, you're still looking at it, right? You know, like you're still looking at this stuff. You know, it's more intricate than you realized, I'm hearing. Like, people really be out here. Like, it's more intricate than you realize. You're not wrong. But, you know, you're gonna need to sit with it, but also, like, you have to sit with the fact that you are, like, just because you know that shit's going to hit the fan doesn't mean that you should pay any less attention to the abundance because of the wisdom and the patience that you've been showing. You've been proving that you're ready for this. You fucking proved to something, you know, like, to the same Eshu power, you know, your underworld experience, you have a guide, you have, you know, obviously a familiar of some sort, or if you didn't before, you do and will. And you've shown clearly that you are ready for whatever is next, and you don't have to worry about it, and it doesn't have to be complicated. I'm hearing, like, I know you're anticipating whatever, but and like shit's happening, but like a lot of different shit is happening. The good shit too is happening. So I want you to really sit with the madness I'm hearing of joy and hope. Rainbows again. Carry hope. I love you guys. Bye.